Key points: need for reform. Pakistan's bureaucracy, though claiming neutrality, operates as a self-sustaining oligarchy with little genuine accountability. Bureaucratic expansion has created many agencies and departments, yet inefficiency remains due to limited structural and operational updates. Challenges with generalist cadres. Current generalist cadres, like past DMG, often lack the specialized skills necessary for modern governance, with frequent shifts in roles, e.g., from education to finance, hindering effective service delivery. Technological advances and the demands of specialized governance require skill-specific roles instead of generalized ones. Proposal for structural changes. Post 18th Amendment, the federal government's role should focus on strategic direction, with provincial governments empowered to handle localized governance. Islamabad's bureaucracy could be reduced and streamlined to increase efficiency and eliminate unnecessary processing layers. Specialization and performance evaluation. Civil servants should specialize in a field within 8 years to remain relevant, with entrance exams prioritizing essential subjects for governmental agendas. Performance evaluations should be transparent and based on realistic assessments of roles and responsibilities. Lateral entry and technological integration. Opening up lateral entry to professional experts can infuse rapidly evolving technical skills critical for modern governance. Digitalizing bureaucratic tasks and adopting a contributory pension system would further streamline operations and align bureaucrats' experiences with ordinary citizens' challenges. Monetization of benefits and salaries. Proposing a shift to market-aligned, transparent compensation packages would allow civil servants more autonomy, improving transparency and reducing government expenditure on perks, e.g., cars, housing. Monetized benefits can be funded by trimming redundant federal-provincial structures and divesting non-essential government properties. Independent policy design for each tier. Each government tier should develop its policies and compensation structures independently, with credible oversight and accountability systems to maintain alignment with public interest. Crux. The article emphasizes the need for comprehensive bureaucratic reforms in Pakistan to address inefficiency, excessive discretionary power, and outdated systems within government operations. It advocates for skill-based specialization, streamlined governance, and accountability, alongside market-based salaries and performance evaluations, to create a more effective and transparent civil service. Key points. Misguided approach to investment. Pakistan's government has been attempting to attract foreign investment by sending high-level delegations and offering incentives, yet this tactic often results in mere MOUs rather than substantial deals. Recent visits to the UAE, China, and Saudi Arabia yielded limited success, primarily focused on MOUs rather than confirmed investments, highlighting ineffective strategies. Perception of government-led initiatives. The proactive government role in courting investment can signal underlying issues in the investment climate rather than strong commitment, as investors question why extensive government intervention is necessary. Investors worry that incentives like tax breaks and regulatory carve-outs point to broader structural issues in the business environment. Internal issues deter investment. Unstable regulatory frameworks, inconsistent price-setting policies, especially in energy and agriculture, and foreign exchange limitations deter investors. Chinese investors, for example, who initially entered Pakistan's power sector during CP, now face difficulties due to delayed payments and a shift in agreed terms, leading to distrust. Foundational reforms needed. Establishing a stable, transparent, and credible legal and regulatory framework is essential to attract sustainable investment. Correct pricing policies and assurances for profit repatriation without liquidity restrictions are crucial, as recent curbs on imports and profit transfers have shaken investor confidence. Structural weaknesses of Pakistan's investment climate, factors such as low educational standards, weak health metrics, political instability, and the non-enforcement of contracts further deter potential investors. Without improvements in these foundational areas, Pakistan will continue struggling to attract serious investments. Alternative to foreign roadshows. The government should focus on internal reforms rather than roadshows and special councils, like the Special Investment Facilitation Council, SIFC, which has achieved minimal investment success. Successful investment attraction depends more on transparent, stable policies than on foreign visits that appear to mask the real purpose of seeking financial support over investment. Conclusion. The article calls for a strategic pivot from superficial efforts to genuine homegrown reforms that address the root issues within Pakistan's investment environment. These changes will foster an inviting landscape for private investment, ensuring confidence and stability for investors without reliance on extensive government incentives. Crux. The article criticizes Pakistan's approach to attracting private investment, which involves aggressive foreign visits and incentives, questioning its credibility. Instead, the author suggests that Pakistan should focus on improving its internal legal, regulatory, and economic frameworks to attract genuine investment, as potential investors are deterred by perceived instability and excessive government intervention. Key points. History of lawyer-governed Pakistan. Pakistan has had numerous lawyer leaders since its inception, including its founder and first prime minister. Despite a substantial number of registered lawyers, 160,000 plus, Pakistan's judicial system suffers from inefficiency, with a massive backlog of 2.23 million unresolved cases. Deterioration of judicial impartiality. Many view the judiciary as compromising its impartiality, risking the integrity of the justice system. Commenting on judicial practices has become sensitive due to the threat of contempt of court. Chief Justice critiques. Justice Saqib Nisar, 2016-19, known for judicial overreach, from public visits to involving himself in personal political disputes, leaving a divisive legacy. Justice Umar Adabandil, 2022-23, initially vowed to address case backlogs but was criticized for bias and inaction, especially on sensitive political issues. Justice Qazi Faiz Isa, 2023-24, brought transparency by opening Supreme Court hearings to the public, but exposed judicial schisms leading to soap opera portrayal of court proceedings. Public exposure and internal division. Televised hearings revealed deep divisions within the judiciary, with judges publicly clashing over personal opinions rather than legal interpretations. The exposure highlighted human flaws in judicial conduct, weakening public confidence in the judiciary. 26th Constitutional Amendment. This amendment, pushed through Parliament, reduced the judiciary's independence, aligning it with legislative control. Judges are now vulnerable to parliamentary influence, leading to concerns about the judiciary's ability to act as an impartial check on government power. Consequences of legislative overreach. The amendment undermines judicial checks and balances, threatening the nation's governance and tilting the balance toward legislative dominance. The careers of dedicated judges were negatively impacted by the amendment, diminishing the judiciary's autonomy. Crux. The article highlights Pakistan's legal challenges, spotlighting the judiciary's gradual decline in integrity and independence due to judicial overreach, infighting, and recent constitutional amendments that place judges at the mercy of Parliament. The author calls for judicial restraint and legislative responsibility to restore the balance of justice. Key points. Symbolic versus substantive growth. Using a metaphor from Mukesh Ambani, the article suggests that true progress is akin to connecting knowledge, vidya, and prosperity, Lakshmi. Superficial displays without this foundational link result in unproductive development strategies. Pakistan should seek substantial growth rather than symbolic gestures, which offer little long-term value. Global events and Pakistan's place. Pakistan hosted the SCO summit, while the BRICS summit in Russia was attended by India's PM, highlighting Pakistan's diplomatic challenges and aspirations. Following such global events, Pakistan often hosts other international spectacles, but these lack tangible gains for the economy or real development. Critique of logistics and planning for events. The recent arrival of the English cricket team resulted in major disruptions as routes between Rawalpindi and Islamabad were closed for the team's commute. Questioning why accommodations closer to the venue couldn't be arranged, the article points to a lack of planning and disregard for public convenience. Economic impact of sporting and diplomatic events. The article suggests that events like international cricket matches could contribute to the economy, but questions whether they actually provide meaningful financial benefits. Poor event planning, such as last-minute stadium renovations, indicates a lack of strategic foresight. Dependency on foreign engagements. International cricket returned to Pakistan as a celebrated event, but it raises questions about the broader implications, whether these events create substantial benefits or merely inconvenience the public for symbolic gains. The writer questions the return of international events after security threats, implying it only offers the appearance of normalcy without addressing the root causes of instability. Focus on self-reliance. Invoking traditional wisdom, the writer emphasizes that all philosophies value knowledge, yet Pakistan continues to be enamored by symbolic displays, such as parades and cricket matches, rather than investing in education and self-sustaining growth. Instead of relying on external investments, loans, or outdated ideologies, Pakistan should focus on sustainable economic strategies to secure a stable future. Final call to action. To move forward, Pakistan must seek alignment with economically sound initiatives like BRICS and SCO, shifting away from dependency on outdated systems that fail to serve its people. Crux, the article critiques Pakistan's misplaced priorities, contrasting the nation's fascination with high-profile events and external symbols of progress with a dire need for substantive growth and self-reliance. Highlighting the importance of knowledge via Vidya as a foundation for prosperity, Lakshmi, the writer argues that Pakistan must focus on practical, self-sustaining development rather than relying on external investments or superficial displays. Key points. Increase in property valuation rates. The FBR plans to increase property valuation rates up to 80% in 56 cities, with tax scope expanded to 12 more cities to better align with actual market values. This step is aimed at enhancing tax revenue and deterring speculative investment in the real estate sector. Valuation gap. Despite periodic adjustments, official property valuations consistently lag behind the market value, reflecting the challenges in an informal economy where many avoid taxes or hide income. Undocumented economy and tax evasion. Real estate investments in Pakistan are attractive for those seeking to evade taxes or launder money, often through the plot file system, where property files change hands without tax disclosure. Loopholes, including tax exemptions for military personnel and bureaucrats, allow significant tax revenue loss in this asset class. Parallel currency, plot files. The plot file system enables properties to be traded multiple times without actual ownership transfer, serving as a liquid, tax-free asset class similar to currency in the undocumented economy. Challenges to effective taxation. Powerful interests, such as politicians, military, business leaders, and overseas Pakistanis, resist reforms, preventing FBR from setting market-based valuations. A World Bank study estimates potential tax revenue from the sector could reach Rs 600 to 700 billion, compared to the current Rs 200 billion. Need for comprehensive reform. FBR's increase in valuation rates will not sufficiently raise tax revenue without addressing systemic issues like benami transactions and exemptions for certain groups. Effective real estate taxation requires plugging these loopholes and enforcing stricter regulatory measures to prevent misuse. Crux. The FBR's upcoming 80% increase in property valuation rates in 56 cities aims to improve tax revenue from real estate transactions and curb speculative investment. However, the informal and undocumented economy in the real estate sector, coupled with tax exemptions and loopholes, significantly hinders effective tax collection, sustaining the sector as a tax haven for the wealthy. Key points. Security challenges for polio teams. Polio workers face heightened risks, especially in regions like KP, where attacks on Tuesday resulted in casualties among police and health workers. Enhanced security measures are crucial, with the need for either counterterrorism trained personnel or police officers equipped with specialized training and protective gear. Rising vaccine refusals. Vaccine refusals are alarmingly high, particularly in Sindh, with rates reaching 85% in Karachi due to myths linking the polio vaccine to infertility and other side effects. Role of religious leaders. Religious leaders, particularly ulama, play a crucial role in dispelling vaccine-related misconceptions. The Sindh government has started involving them, and this approach should be expanded to other provinces. Media and awareness campaigns. Large-scale media campaigns aimed at high refusal areas are needed to counter misinformation and highlight the vaccine's safety and benefits. Regional comparison and accountability. India and Bangladesh have eradicated polio, demonstrating that elimination is feasible. Pakistan remains one of only 2 countries where polio is still endemic, along with Afghanistan, underscoring the need for stronger governmental commitment. Urgency and call to action. Effective eradication requires immediate, scalable action to address both security and public perception, marking polio elimination as an achievable goal with the right strategies. Crux. Pakistan's polio eradication efforts face significant setbacks due to violent attacks on polio teams and widespread vaccine refusal, fueled by misinformation. Strengthening security for health workers and engaging religious leaders to counter vaccine myths are essential steps towards successful eradication. Key points. Escalating violence. The Thalparakana Road has been closed for 3 weeks due to frequent tribal and sectarian violence. Recent attacks, including one that led to the martyrdom of 2 Frontier Corps (FC) troops, point to potential involvement of TTP militants, complicating an already volatile situation. Root causes. A primary source of conflict is an unresolved land dispute between 2 tribes. However, sectarian tensions also exacerbate tribal hostilities, intensifying local violence. Access to heavy weaponry among rival tribes means even minor conflicts can escalate into armed clashes. Government's inaction. Although the issue is discussed in the KP Assembly, effective solutions remain absent. The state-endorsed Land Commission has not successfully resolved the dispute, leaving the conflict unresolved and communities isolated. Recommended interventions. Judicial land resolution. The government must prioritize resolving the land dispute through legal and judicious means. Deweaponization. A systematic deweaponization drive is essential to reduce the risk of tribal warfare. Community engagement. Tribal elders and religious figures should be actively involved to promote peaceful dispute resolution. Counterterrorism efforts. Proactive measures are needed to remove terrorist elements who may exploit local tensions, especially given Kurram's proximity to Afghanistan. Long-term stability. For sustainable peace, the government needs to establish its authority, ensuring Kurram's residents can live safely without constant fear of conflict. Crux. The ongoing conflict in Kurram district highlights the government's failure to establish lasting peace, as sectarian and tribal disputes continue to spiral into violent clashes. To bring stability, the state must proactively address land disputes, conduct a deweaponization campaign, and eliminate terrorist threats in the area.